This segment of Delmarva Life is brought to you by the Cape May Lewis Ferry.
Well, is Cape May a cape or is it an island? Well, actually, it's both. A canal dug from a natural shallow creek runs from Cape May's harbor to the Delaware Bay, making Cape May an island. But it is still part of a cape or a strip of land projecting into a body of water. And it's that geographic location that had so many people resorting to the southernmost tip of New Jersey more than 200 years ago. Cape May is called the nation's oldest seashore resort.
Some people say the nation's oldest seashore resort. I like the first seashore resort.
Mary Stewart with the Mid-Atlantic Center for the Arts and Humanities says Indian tribes came here for the fishing, but that in the late 1700s ads for Cape May as a seashore resort appeared in Ben Franklin's newspaper, the Pennsylvania Packet.
People came here to promenade and to take the waters, really. They resorted to a resort like Cape May to recreate themselves.
By 1834, there were 6 boarding houses, attracting the elite of New York, Baltimore, Washington, and Philadelphia.
It was a couple days journey from Philadelphia by stagecoach, though you could come by steamship, and in the 1860s, the train arrived here, which really changed the visitation to the city dramatically.
But in 1878, Cape May City nearly burned to the ground.
There were actually a series of devastating fires in Cape May, but the largest was in 1878. It was called the Great Inferno. It was such a tremendous fire that it actually was written up in the New York Times, and it burned 30 acres of the downtown. It started on November 9th, which was after our season, and the fire hydrants had been turned off, and they actually brought fire equipment down from Camden and Philadelphia by train. But by that time, most of the heart of the city had been burned down. And that was actually when the big old oceanfront hotels disappeared and more modest, smaller hotels began to appear.
That's also when many of the Victorian houses seen today were built. The second largest collection of such homes in the nation after San Francisco.
Most of the houses in Cape May date from 1878, so that's why we're so well known for our Victorian architecture. We have almost 600 Victorian era buildings in this very small town.
In 1926, plans were made for a ferry across the Delaware Bay. Unfortunately, the concrete ship purchased to form part of a dock sunk in a violent storm in 1926, postponing the project. The remains of the ship are visible today at Sunset Beach. Cape May County saw an economic upturn after the opening of the Garden State Parkway in 1954. The ferry project was resurrected and the Cape May Lewis Ferry opened in 1964.
Well, the ferry certainly has an impact. It makes us the kind of the way station, the stop as people go north to south. And we actually see the benefit of it all year long because the snowbirds leave from November to January and then come back again in the spring, and we're an easy stop for people using the ferry.
Although the parkway and the ferry solved Cape May's isolation problem, some say it still stands apart from the rest of the state. Unlike other Jersey Shore towns, Cape May still looks like small-town America.
We have a vibrant bed and breakfast industry here. We benefit from the sport fishing industry, charter boats and day boats that go out. We're really fortunate and different from many seaside resorts because our season doesn't run from Memorial Day to Labor Day. We have a very active tourism season beginning in February with President's Weekend and running through the end of December. As a matter of fact, December in Cape May is almost as busy as August with all the Christmas tours.
One of Cape May's most visited sites is the Cape May Lighthouse.
The lighthouse that is currently standing in Cape May Point is the third lighthouse on the site. It was built in 1859 by General Meade and the Army Corps of Engineers, and it's been an active aid to navigation since that time. The lighthouse actually is still working lighthouse, maintained by the Coast Guard, but we maintain, the Mid-Atlantic Center for the Arts and Humanities maintains the building and opens it to the public.
The tower is 157.5 feet tall with 217 steps from the ground to the top. The walls of the lighthouse were designed to withstand winds several times above hurricane force. And speaking of hurricanes, you would think Cape May's geographic location, surrounded by water, would make it a prime target for storms. Although there have been hundreds of hurricane watches and warnings throughout the centuries, Cape May has never felt the true wrath of a full-fledged hurricane. Nor'easters, on the other hand, have left their mark, none more so than the Great Nor'easter of 1962. The storm raged for 3 full days and destroyed the boardwalk, beachfront, convention hall, and severely damaged many properties.
We've had our share of hurricanes and a very devastating nor'easter in 1962. But generally the weather in Cape May is very moderate, it's temperate. The ocean has a moderating effect. We have usually moderate winters and the summers are not too hot. We always have this lovely ocean breeze.
Today, Cape May continues to thrive. It was recognized as one of America's top 10 beaches by the Travel Channel, and its beach was ranked 5th in New Jersey in the 2008 Top 10 Beaches contest sponsored by the New Jersey Marine Sciences Consortium. But if you want to take a step back in time, downtown Cape May delivers, especially the Physic Estate.
It was built in 1879, designed by Frank Furness, who is really the father of the true American architecture. And it's now restored as a Victorian house museum, and you can see life as it was lived in the 1890s here.
Giving visitors a journey back in time. In 1996, Cape May was officially designated a National Historic Landmark, making Cape May the only city in the United States wholly designated as such. Now that we know a little bit more about Cape May's history, it's time to start digging into all the fun. Our first stop is the Wildwood Boardwalk. From the sights, the sounds, and the smells, we'll show you why a visit here is a must. Plus, we're making friends here in Cape May at the Cape May County Park and Zoo. We'll introduce you to some of the zoo's most famous faces. Don't mark for life, we'll be right back.